This is my modded Nintendo Switch, and I've done a lot of stuff with it, such as installing Android, connecting a Wii remote to it, and even turning it into a computer. So today, I'm going to go over everything on my modded Switch and explain what they do.
And here we have my modded Nintendo Switch. The first thing you're seeing is a custom theme that I have installed onto it. I'm a pretty big Splatoon fan, so I decided to make the whole Switch Splatoon themed. And if we go inside, you will see the rest of the Splatoon theme. This theme is really cool because it's fully animated. So when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get that. So we have this, which is Splatoon themed, and also the friends menu and settings menu are also Splatoon themed. So if I click on my profile, you'll see that it switches to a different theme here, which is also Splatoon. So the Homebrew software that allows you to get custom themes is called nxthemesinstaller. So if we go into the Homebrew menu, which is this icon, you'll see that I have that installed. So we hop over to here and you see it says nxthemesinstaller. So if I click to open this, you will see this is where I can manage all the themes that I have. Moving on and staying inside the Homebrew menu, I also have Awoo Installer. So this is a software that you use to install stuff. So if you want to install something, use Awoo Installer. Next to that, I have Checkpoint, which is a save manager. I also have another save manager, which I'm going to show later on, which I prefer to use. But if we go inside Checkpoint, never mind, I guess we can't. That's actually a good time to mention that a lot of the things you launch inside your Homebrew menu, you want to make sure you're not running applet mode. What you want to do is launch it in normal mode. I don't know if it's called that, but to do that, all you have to do is hold down R while you're opening any game that you have installed, and then it will launch the Homebrew menu outside of applet mode. So you'll be able to run all the softwares you have installed without having to worry about anything crashing. And inside Checkpoint, it will have every single game that you've ever installed, even if you don't have it on your emunand. And if we go to one of these, let's go to Super Smash Bros. What you can do is click on it and then click new, and every time you click new, what it will do is create a save of that game from whenever you did it. So like if I did it right now, everything that I have saved on that game will be included in this save file, and you can use it just to keep track of your saves. But what's really nice about it, if I were to go on the internet and look up a 100% completion save file of a game that I have that I don't feel like completing myself, and then what I could do is create this save, and then with the 100% completed file, what I could do is rename it to whatever I named this, and then I could drag that onto my SD card so that this save would now be the 100% completion, and then I would click R to restore it, and then I would have a 100% save file for that game. Next to that, we have Daybreak. This will automatically come with Atmosphere once you jailbreak your Switch, and this is extremely helpful for updating your emunand. If you don't know, your emunand isn't connected to Nintendo servers so that you can do all the sus stuff you want to without worrying about being banned. But the thing about that is because you're not connected to the servers, if you want to update your Switch, you can't do it because you need to connect to Nintendo to be able to update it. But Daybreak is used for installing firmware updates onto your Switch so you don't have to connect to the Nintendo server. So to simplify what you have to do, and make sure you watch a guide if you're actually wanting to do this, you have to go online and look for a dump of the Nintendo firmware, download that dump, and then put it on your SD card, and then you can click install, and then here you would scroll down to wherever you put the download of that firmware, you would click it, and then Daybreak would install it. And next to that, we have the Homebrew App Store. This is very self-explanatory. This is what you use if you want to install stuff. So inside here, you can see a lot of things that I have installed. I actually want to talk about Mission Control because Mission Control doesn't show up as an app even though I have it installed, but what it does is add support for third-party Bluetooth devices such as a Wii remote. I actually made a video on that, and I actually have my PS5 controller here so I could show you how this works. I don't even have a PS5, I just have a PS5 controller. It's a stupid purchase. Okay, there we go. It's in pairing mode, so it shows up as a Pro controller, but that's actually the PlayStation controller. So yeah, my PS5 controller is now connected, so my camera isn't focused on the Switch, but you can see that I'm moving it and it's controlling it. If you do have an Xbox controller, unfortunately the Xbox wireless series controllers don't work. It's only the old Xbox model controllers that work, like the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S, not the Xbox Series S and X controllers. And that's actually where the second software that I have comes in. So Mission Control is used for wireless controllers, but if you have a wireless controller that isn't supported, that's where sys-con comes in. So what this software does, it does the exact same thing as Mission Control, but it makes it so that you can use wired controllers. I can't dock my Switch right now, but if I were to dock my Switch and then plug in an unsupported Xbox controller that doesn't work with Bluetooth, I would be able to use it in wired mode because of sys-con. So that's very helpful. Next to this, I have sys-clk, which is a software that is used to overclock your Switch. It's actually very cool. And I also have another thing called Tesla overlay menu, which allows me to manage sys applications that I have. So for example, sys-clk, syshidplus, which is what I used when I connected my Wii U gamepad to my Switch. So all I have to do to open that menu is hold down L, down, and then press the right. And then you'll see here that we have the Tesla overlay menu. So if I go to sysmod modules, you'll see that we have syshidplus here. It's currently off right now, and we're gonna keep it like that because it loves to crash my switch for no reason. And if we go back, we can go into sys-clk, which is the overclocker for your switch. So I mainly use this when I'm using Moonlight, which is a switch software that allows you to stream your computer to your switch. But what I do is go to temporary overrides and then set these to their maximum amounts. I don't know if this is the maximum amount. It's different for switch models. If you have a first gen switch, then the maximum is lower than if you had a second gen switch or a switch OLED. I'm gonna put on screen a list of the maximum overrides for a Gen 1 switch. We also have JKSV, which is the other save manager that I was talking about. I just prefer to use this one for some reason. I don't have a specific reason for why I like it, but it's just what I use. So if you want a save manager, I recommend you use JKSV, but Checkpoint works perfectly fine. I have nothing against it. I just prefer to use this. And speaking of Super Smash, let's actually go to that and open it because I have custom mods for it, which is really cool. So in Super Smash Bros, I have the Acropolis mod, which is a mod manager for Super Smash Bros, which allows you to add a bunch of custom mods. So custom skins, custom courses, custom anythings. It said there's an update available, but I ain't got time for all that. So anyways, and then the very last thing, and probably the funnest thing that I have, is Retroarch. Oh man, I love Retroarch. Not on my Switch though. I use it once a year on my Switch. A lot of the things I have, I rarely use because here's the thing. I mod my Switch so many times for YouTube videos, like when I installed Android, when I installed Linux, when I did a modding guide, and I don't really create backups of my Switch. So every time I partition my SD card to mod it for a video, I lose everything I have. So what I have on my Switch right now will probably be completely different than what I have in 2 weeks. But let's just open Retroarch. So this is an emulator for basically all the retro consoles. So like DS, PS1, N64, NES, SNES. I might have made up the N64 part. I'm not sure. What I use it for on my Switch though is mainly just DS and Game Boy Advance. So if we go to load core, we can choose the nxthemes, which is the Nintendo DS emulator. And then after we load that, we can go down to load content. Downloads, I think is where I have everything. And wow, I only have 3 games. But out of these 3 games, the only thing that I actually play is probably Pokemon Emerald for the Game Boy Advance because I just love Pokemon Emerald. It actually looks way nicer than if you're using the DS emulator because the DS emulator has like a square and then a smaller square at the bottom to represent the bottom screen. But because the Game Boy Advance only has 1 screen, it actually looks really, really nice on here. And all of the things I have here, you can download off of the Homebrew app store. And then reboot to payload, that's just something that comes with Atmosphere. If your reboot to payload doesn't work and it just restarts your Switch in the normal firmware, make sure to join my Discord server linked in the description because it's actually an extremely easy fix. But thank you guys for listening to me yap about everything that is on my modded Nintendo Switch, and I hope you enjoyed this video. For those of you who just modded your Switch and you were looking for some cool things to download, I hope that one of the things I mentioned in this video piqued your interest and you'll go and download it. Make sure to like the video if you haven't already, and I'll see you all later.